Hey guys, it's Wednesday, and I have two apologies to start off with. Apology number one, I have done my punishment. It was done, it was horrifying, it was humiliating, it was embarrassing, I'm pretty sure I'm a little mentally scarred from it, and it also had a lot of footage. And I've been trying to edit it and take little bits and pieces of it, just the good stuff, because it is funny, but I can't post it now because I've done nothing for it, and I've been really busy, and so I might post it on Friday or Saturday as a little extra thing. If not, then it'll definitely be there next week. But yeah, I also never want to do a punishment again. That was like the easiest one, and it was just really scary. I thought it was going to be really fun, then it got weird. Which also goes into apology number two, because I don't have any time to edit videos, and I want to get this one done and not have to do a punishment again. This is not going to be edited at all. I'm sorry if you want me to move back and forth, little jump cut things, maybe I'll do it for fun, but this is just going to be a very long video of a very casual book talk. So, sit down, get a drink, nice beverage, get comfy, because this is probably going to take a while. So Sam and Mary talked about their favorite books. And those were really the all-time favorite books, and because we're all friends, we all read the same books, I like those that they mentioned, The Fault in Our Stars and Catcher in the Rye, those are my top favorite books of all time. So the books that I have are actually, a couple of them are some of my all-time favorites, but they're kind of just the second tier of favorite books ever. And so they're books I really like. They're not necessarily my favorites though, but those were already mentioned, and I had to be punished this week, so I didn't get to choose. I didn't get to get them. But that's okay. That's okay. So first, we have a series of unfortunate events. I am in love with this series. It was one I read, me and my sisters, I have 4 sisters, we read them when we were kids, and it was just our favorite thing. I don't know why, probably just because it was about siblings. And Lemony Snicket creates this really weird world where you're on this border constantly of reality and fantasy, and it's just really interesting because you don't always know where you are or what you're doing, but you know the characters and you kind of I don't know, not depend on them or rely on them, but you feel comfortable with them, and you get to know them very, very well in the 13 books? I don't know how many, there's a lot of books. I haven't read them for 3 years. And all the books that you see them in, and I think it's really cool to read when you're younger, because you sort of find parts of you in Violet and Klaus and Sunny, and it's really nice. You really learn to love the characters, and not necessarily for, I'm not very smart, and they're not very, deep, connection reasons and learn more about humanity. It's really just, you really do love these kids, even the villains, and you really come to know and love, and it's one of my favorite series ever. I love it. Another series that I like is the Inheritance series by Christian Paolini, and I don't have a good copy of this because one of my friends is borrowing Aragon. I have no idea where my copy of Berserker is, and I don't have Inheritance yet. So I have this really crappy copy of Eldest that my dog ripped the covers off of. Yeah. But here's the eye. That's kind of what the cover looks like. I really love Aragon and Eldest, and I'm trying to finish Berserker, but it's really hard because it's really long, it's really slow. But I think he does a really good job of, I really like medieval fantasy, weird, epic adventure books, where they just go camping for weeks on end and just eat bread and cheese and sing from a little lute or something. I love those. And he does a really cool way of creating races, not races, well, races and species, but not races black or white, elves, and this is called the Rozak. I don't know how you say it. I don't want to take anything from the movie because I hate the movie so much. It makes me so mad. But the elves you know, like little goblin things, or whatever they're called. I don't know what they're called. He makes up names for them, and I haven't read it in a while. But it's really, really cool. I like all the culture kind of things that he puts in the books. They're really interesting, and he writes it really well. And I don't necessarily love the characters as much in this book. I think I like it a little bit more with the plot and the setting that he creates, because some of the characters are just dumb, and some of them don't really have that much thought put into them, but I love the series. It's one of my favorites. I just get lost in them every time. I have to just read chunks and chunks and chunks of it at a time, and not read it when I'm doing anything important or if I'm busy, because I love just getting lost in it, and I think he does a really good job with that. I love that book. My next favorite book, which is actually one of my favorite books, I don't have a copy of because my middle school English teacher, who is right now my sister's teacher, borrowed it and hasn't given it back for a little bit. By a little bit, I mean, I don't know when I loaned it to her, and I think I asked to get it back, but I don't think I did. I don't know. I don't have it. But it's I'm the Messenger by Marcus Zuzak. And he is the same author who wrote The Book Thief, which was one of Mary Grace's books that she mentioned yesterday. And it's about this cab driver named Ed, and he kind of lives in this, like, shitty little house, with his dog, and, like, he has 3 friends he really likes. One of them is Audrey. He's in love with her. His mom's really annoying, calls him all the time, and he's just really poor, trying to get by, kind of funny, kind of awkward, just kind of, you know, average Joe kind of guy. And he gets these playing cards in the mail that have, like, clues and directions on them, and he doesn't really know what to do with them, and then he finds out that they're taking him to people, and he has to start helping the people, and it's sort of him being, like, this undercover superhero thing, and sometimes, at points in the book, it can be kind of cheesy, but the rest of it, though, is really, really good. Every time I read the last chapter, the last page, or even, like, the last line, it just gives me chills. I love that book, because it to me, it's not necessarily how he was helping these other people and, like, their stories, because I think that kind of catches a lot of people. That's the reason why my mom likes it. But it's really, if you've read this book and you know the last line, you know what I'm talking about. It's just him and how he kind of finds out what he can do and what he can't do, and, you know, who he is and what he kind of becomes from that, and kind of, because he doesn't always help them in the best way. Sometimes he fails, but it's okay, because it ends up good. It's a good book. I love it. Yeah, this is, 8 minutes? I'm filming on my iPad, so I don't know how long. Yeah, but that is one of my favorite books. A book I want to talk about that I'm only going to talk about very quickly, is The Protector of the Small series by Tamora Pierce. You've probably seen it because it has the worst cover ever. Look it up on Google. The Protector of the Small by Tamora Pierce. It is the ugliest thing in the world, and that's why no one reads it. Because they just started, like, printing new covers, like, a couple years ago, but, like, all the libraries have the gross covers. It's really cool. It's about this girl. She goes to, like, a night school. Her friends are really funny. It's written in sort of, like, an ancient medieval kind of inheritance-y kind of language, but then it's also really funny and really just, like, cute, and it's a good mix of, like, crazy, like high school antics, but also a really, like, actual good story, like, with substantial plot and characters and meaning, and I really like it. And the only book I haven't read Lady Night yet. I just finished Squire, and I lost it at school, which made me really mad. But yeah, those are my favorites. My second favorites. I feel bad calling them my second favorites because I just talked about how much I liked them. But yeah, so see Delaney tomorrow with all her favorite books, hopefully her punishment, and yeah, see you next week, hopefully when you see my punishment, which I don't want you to see, because it was horrible and terrible and scary, and